Katamari Reroll is almost always on sale on the Nintendo Switch. Every single time I go on the eShop, it's there, on sale for about £3. So I decided today to finally take a look at it and see if it's worth the £3 odd it's on sale for. First thing I noticed when I booted up the game was the music. Almost worth the £3 on its own. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. You roll, no, not that kind of roll. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. You roll, you stick things to the ball gets bigger, you can stick bigger things to the ball, and off you go. And the story basically revolves around rolling up balls to try and make stars and constellations to go into the night sky. The gameplay revolves around levels, and each level you can make the ball slightly bigger, and every level where you get bigger, you can roll up slightly bigger things. And eventually, at the end of the level, you can roll up nearly everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Right, committing mass murder, we love it. To jazz things up, there are also constellation levels. These work slightly different to the other levels. The aim isn't to get the largest ball, it's actually to collect a certain number of items of the same kind. So for example, if you're trying to make Pisces, the level will revolve around how many fish you get to collect. And obviously the fish grow in size and are different sizes, so you need to grow the ball to get all the fish. It's pretty good if you're a completionist, actually. I think it'll be pretty hard to 100% these levels, which is a pretty good thing. So now we kind of introduced the game. Let's get on to how the game actually plays itself. Once again, music, absolute bop, cannot fault it whatsoever. I really enjoy the fact that if you pick up an item and stick it to your ball that's a weird shape, your ball's gonna move weirdly. So either you got to think twice before picking up the object, or you just kind of roll with it and be a lopsided ball and kind of get that to work. I really enjoy the aspect that for the levels, you tend to grow quite a lot, which means that you can repass through areas you started off in when you were small and go and collect everything. I don't know why running over the humans is so satisfying, but it really is. Most of the levels are timed, but they kind of give you more than enough time to finish the level, which is quite nice. And if you finish early and reach whatever size it asks you to reach, you play out the rest of the gameplay and just try and get as big as you can. This did lead to a few problems though. Sometimes I felt like I was too big for the level and the camera angle couldn't adjust accordingly, and I could just kind of see ball and nothing else. But I feel like some of the humor of this game is the fact that the game isn't 100% perfect and 100% polished. Like the bugs kind of make it funny. And as I said, there's a bit of a replay factor, especially with the constellation levels, because it's so hard to 100% it. You really have to plan those levels if you want to 100% it, because some areas you can't actually access when you're bigger and can only access when you're smaller. So if you grow before you've accessed those areas, you've already locked yourself out of being able to get some of them. The area I struggled with the most was the controls. So I tried both motion controls and the standard controls. And for both of them, moving itself seemed to make quite a lot of sense. For the motion controls, you kind of pointed your Joy-Cons forwards. And for standard controls, you just press up on both of the analog sticks to move forwards. But where it struggled is the camera angle and maneuvering yourself around the ball. So not only can you move forwards and in different directions, your character can move around the ball to really help around sharp corners. And this always seemed to ruin the flow. The automated camera angles seem to work a lot better for the motion controls than they did for the standard controls. But I feel like for this to be really fluid, it needed a really solid automated camera rather than relying on you to kind of move around the ball to get a better angle. And that's kind of the part that frustrated me the most, I think. I did sometimes find myself not enjoying parts of the level because I got stuck or couldn't move or got frustrated at the controls. And sometimes you can get yourself wedged, which normally I'd say is very funny. But when you're in a time-controlled level, can get quite frustrating when you really can't get out and the time's whittling down. Also, sometimes the main dude would talk to you during the level. He would just flash up, but you could still move and the time was still going down. And I did find myself trying to scream at him like, get off my screen, please. Although I wasn't that invested in the story, there were these story segments and they very much went with the theme of the game, which I really enjoyed. They're quirky, they're funny, they're great. Although I don't care about the story, I still took time out to see them in between each level. The game also has multiple save files. However, my biggest gripe with this whole thing is there's no autosave. And I'm an idiot who seemed to repeatedly forget this and had to redo some of the levels because I didn't. Just after each level, if it could just autosave, my life would be so much easier. Overall, I really enjoyed this game. It is truly, truly unique. It's not the longest game. It'll probably be about 5-ish hours to complete the whole thing on the single player mode. But for £3, I think it's really good and you'll have a great time. You will get a little bit frustrated from time to time. But honestly, there's nothing like it on the Switch. So much more of an experience than I expected it to be. And compared to so many other games on the Switch for £3, this is really good value for money. This is probably one of the best quality sale games for around this price range I have seen. And if you haven't already, I really encourage you to go give it a go if you're looking for, you know, a fun 5 or so hours on your Switch. That's everything for me today. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more games to get interested in. I do everything Nintendo here, and I would absolutely love it if you could help me get to 1,000 subscribers. And I'll see you next time. Bye.